what our marriage looked like in the future. It was terrible. It was terrible.
It always comes down to a simple question. Do you even talk about Cody anymore? And Christine Woolley, reclining in comfort during a TikTok live with David and his daughter Katie, simply laughed. Not a polite one. A real laugh. The kind that does say, "Why would I?" And that is when she uttered those words. The words that sent shockwaves ringing throughout the entire Sister Wives universe. We don't talk about him. Only on set. And honestly, I hate it. Hate, not dislike. Not it's hard. I hate it. This was not a joke. It was not a joke. It was the most authentic we've seen of Christine in years. And fans recognized it. You could practically sense the exhaustion seeping through in her voice. The very show that saw her emancipation now is the ball and chain holding her back. And as the ratings continue to plummet, tens of millions of viewers lost in just 2 years, everyone wonders the same thing. Is Christine really done with Sister Wives? And if she is this the end of the entire show? Because if the fan favorite walks, what's left? Let's rewind. Because everything started unraveling long before she ever said, "I hate it." For years, TLC told us this was reality, that this was their real life, that these cameras were capturing genuine moments of a plural family trying to make it work. But then Christine exposed the truth in one sentence. We only talk about Cody when we're on set. Set, not home, not real life. Set. It shattered the illusion in one instant. This wasn't just a family. This was a production, a stage, a job. They weren't sharing their lives. They were performing them. And suddenly Christine wasn't just annoyed. She was angry. Because the more she tried to move on, the more TLC dragged her back into the past. And the fan base felt it too. The show was no longer growth, and was starting to feel like torture. Let's get this straight. Christine is happy now. She's remarried. She's goofy. She's wrestling literally David down the hallway to get to the shower first, so she doesn't have to squeegee the glass. She builds Lego sets on live streams. She laughs. She lives, but the minute she sits down in that interview chair, everything is different. Because production isn't concerned with her new life. They only want one thing. Cody, tell us about the marriage. What occurred? Do you regret it? How did you feel when he said that to you? What about his hair? His sweat? Yes. They actually asked her about his sweat, and that's when she lost it. Last season at the tell-all, behind the scenes, Christine called David furious. She told him, "All they care to talk about is my life with Cody. I'm so over it. That world is not mine anymore. I don't exist there." That's the line that gives me shivers. I don't exist there. Think about that. The show that made her a star. Eliminated the real her. And here's where it gets really nasty. Christine just released a memoir, a New York Times bestseller, mostly about life with Cody. She told those stories. She went deep. She spilled everything. But the difference is here. The book was on her terms, her voice, her timing, her boundaries. No manipulation, no pressure, no producers pushing an agenda. Sister Wives? Totally different. In front of the camera, they crave conflict. They crave tear fests. They crave family gatherings and contrived apologies. They crave forgiveness and closure wrapped in a bow, even if it's all made up. And Christine isn't lying on the show's behalf anymore. But the producers won't hear of it. They can't. They're desperate. Why? Because the ratings are terrifying. Let's get real. Sister Wives used to swept TLC Season 18 premiere. 2.1 million viewers. People sat stuck to the tube watching the weddings collapse one after another. Season 19 premiere, 937,000, almost halved, bumped mid-season to 1.2 million, and a steady decline. By the back half of Season 19, 2000, the tell-all, which was the highest rated at one point, barely made 1 million. And now, Season 20? 877,000 for the premiere. The next week, down again to 860,000. They've lost over 1.3 million viewers in 3 years. That's not a drop. That's a meltdown. And the still watching fans? The majority of them are yelling the same thing. We're bored. Nothing ever changes. Just drama with no payoff. And you know what's worse? Even the cast is whining about the same thing. Christine hates it. Cody calls the show negative and toxic. Janelle is burned out. Mary is tuned out. Robin is crying. The kids barely show up. Even producers look drained. Everyone is done. But no one leaves. Why? Because of one dirty word: contract. Most of the fans don't know this, but season 20 was their last season in contract. They could have walked away. They could have quit. They could have been done, and yet cameras are rolling again, which means they signed something? Did TLC threaten them? Did they raise their salary? Did they offer them new storylines? Or did some of them just need the paycheck? Because here's another little secret. It's so much more expensive to produce the show now. The family is spread all over the country. Crews fly everywhere. Multiple sets. Multiple cities. Multiple teams. TLC is paying more and getting less. And fans are abandoning. Fast. Because there is no core family anymore. No being together. No wives trying. Just shards. And in the middle of all this pandemonium, Christine stands there and utters the quiet part out loud. I hate being on the show. I hate that they make me talk about Cody. I hate that they won't let me move on. She is done emotionally. But is she done legally? Financially? Publicly? And what if she finally says, enough? Does the show die with her? Or does TLC try one more trick to keep it going? That's when all of it takes a surprising turn. Because while Christine is trying to walk away, Cody and Robin are making moves in the shadows. Big moves. Deadly moves. Money. Moves. And they're not even new beginnings. They're about power, control, and revenge. But before the viewers could even process that, something happened that no one was expecting, and it threw everything off. It started with whispers. Little clues given in interviews, TikTok live broadcasts, and behind-the-scenes glimpses. Cody and Robin were quietly doing what nobody could have possibly predicted. A new beginning house? Harmless enough, right? Wrong. This was on purpose, planned. And not for a little old happily ever after, more like domination. Sources suggest behind the scenes, Cody has been plotting a scenario in which he is the victimized husband, misunderstood family cornerstone. And Robin? She's playing star co-star, supportive, cheerful, and innocuous, at least on television. But dedicated viewers of the show can detect tension. The smirk when she speaks about Christine. The subtle jibes disguised as jokes. It's all choreographed to keep the focus on their own blunders and on Christine's issues. And this is where it gets nasty. Christine, on her own TikTok streams, has been showing a life that is the complete opposite of the scripted soap. She's playful. She's snuggly with David. She's even bickering with him in the morning just to make it to the shower first. It's almost hilarious. The pictures of a grown woman, literally wrestling with her husband in a hallway over who gets to shower first. But the audience can tell. They know that this is Christine reclaiming her life, and that's what endangers the show so greatly. TLC doesn't require a free Christine. They don't desire her laughing, building with Lego bricks, getting along fine. They want her in the spotlight, broken apart, responding to inquiries regarding Cody. Why? Because the show is on its deathbed. And when a show's on its deathbed, producers become desperate. Ratings are everything. Remember the numbers? Season 18, 2.1 million. Season 19, 937,000. Season 20, 877,000. It's a plummet. They've lost over 1 million viewers in 3 years. With every new cast relocation, every new wedding, every tell-all, less and less viewers. And TLC is so desperate. They're squeezing drama out of moments which otherwise would be mundane. Enter the tell-all episodes. The crown jewel ones. The fans watched, popcorn in hand, anticipating secrets, showdowns, and blazing verbal exchanges. Today, Christine sits here seething in here, while producers push her back into memories she doesn't want to have. Every Cody question is like a trap. Every producer glance is a reminder. You fit here. You are for this drama, not your life. Christine's had enough. She's not shy about it. I hate it. I don't exist there. I'm done with that world. And yet she shows up. Why? Because of contracts, because of cameras, because of TLC. The fame is tempting. The exposure is tempting, but her heart isn't. And fans know. Meanwhile, the family dynamics continue to spiral. Janelle's departure, Mary's growing distance, Mary's quiet disengagement, all signs of a system unraveling. The core family unit that once held viewers' attention is gone, and without Christine fully invested, there's no anchor, no emotional heartbeat. Just a series of forced interactions, awkward reunions, and manufactured conflict, and then the latest twist. Cody and Robin's offer to purchase a new home is a master manipulation. Fresh starts on the surface, financially taking advantage of Christine beneath the surface. Child support leverage, positioning in the family, control, power. The game has shifted from full-on emotional drama to clever manipulation. Christine knows. She gets it, but the cameras, they roll. There are viewers watching. And somewhere in between the forced grins and manufactured laughter, the truth manages to seep through. This ain't reality. This is a war in disguise, fought with cameras as witnesses, and just when it seems like Christine may leave it all behind, in comes another, her children. McKeely, Tony, and others have been working behind the scenes too, playing house, rebooting lives, trying to shield Christine from further trauma, while simultaneously fighting the madness of the show. It's almost cinematic to observe a mother and daughter making their way through adulthood, responsibilities, and the purgatory of reality television all at the same time. And that is where the heartbreak comes in, for Christine. She has a full life, her heart is full, and the show requires fragments of her soul. The more she resists, the harder TLC works. The more she smiles, the harder they edit and manipulate and stage her behavior to serve a story that she no longer even believes. By now, audiences aren't just watching. Audiences are asking, why is Christine still here? Why remain in a show that degrades her? Why allow the past to be more important than the present? And the answer, as complicated as it may be, is plain. Money, contracts, allegiance, and the hope that maybe, just maybe, TLC can finally treat her with dignity. But can they? That's the question hanging over every episode, every live stream, every TikTok. And as Christine struggles, laughs, and rebuilds, the show walks a fine line between implosion. Ratings continue falling, fans continue questioning loyalty and sanity. And Cody and Robin, they maintain their subtle campaign to maintain control, harvest profit, and exercise influence. It's a slow-moving storm, a reality show unfolding. And Christine? She's in the middle, playing her role, living her life, and quietly, but emphatically, telling TLC she has had enough playing by their rules. And still, there's one last twist, because even while Christine stands firm, ready to reclaim her story in its entirety, the show has one last shock in store, a revelation so staggering, so misleading, that it was capable of undoing all that Christine has fought for. As fans watched, Sister Wives' new season revealed a secret. Christine had been secretly reclaiming her life, building habits with David, giggling with her kids, even indulging in the little things like playing with Legos. But TLC had something else in store. Producers, feeling Christine's resistance to on-camera drama, resolved to put a high-stakes spin on things. Step into the family intervention plot, a staged reunion wherein Christine was to work with Cody, Robin, and the rest of the group under the auspices of healing the family. On paper, it read good. Emotional discussions, family strengthening, a do-over. But all anyone at home knew was that it was anything but. Christine arrived, calm but guarded. The cameras followed every step. The lights highlighted the tension in her eyes. Cody, as ever, smiled graciously, hiding the motive beneath his calm exterior. Robin, the supporting actor, mirrored his calm with a practiced warmth. Tension pulsed through the air. Every individual present was sensitive to the fact the real show wasn't just on camera. It was in the unspoken politics, the passive-aggressive comments, the scripted silences. David hung with Christine, defending and guarding her, but even he could not keep her from prying eyes. Every glance, every inquiry, every hesitation was recorded. Loaded questions were posed by the producers on previous relationships, cohabiting with Cody, and the celebrated Cody saga. Christine responded graciously, but frustration seeped through. She tired of reliving moments which no longer characterized her. Meanwhile, viewers caught something. The patterns that had captivated viewers heretofore, the petty posturing, the insecurities, the one-upmanship, were now held in check by Christine's self-confidence and refusal to be controlled. Twitter lost its mind with announcements like, "Christine is done with this nonsense. She finally gets it, and the show can't control her anymore." The fan base was shifting. Attention remained, but loyalty to the old format was crumbling. And then the biggest bang. A careless, baiting statement by Cody intended to get her angry blew up in his face. He told her, "Christine, do you ever miss how things used to be?" The question was laden with emotion, intended to trigger her on nostalgia and shame. But Christine, in no ambiguous terms, countered, "No. I don't miss a world where I didn't have peace, joy, or autonomy. I exist outside of this show now." Gasps echoed, not just in the living room but online. Videos of the reaction went viral. Fans of Christine shared her words, praising her integrity and bravery. TLC, however, freaked out. Ratings were plummeting, and producers realized that the narrative they'd bet on, Christine the troubled ex, Cody the patriarch struggling to keep it all together, wasn't holding up. The family intervention part continued. But Christine's refusal to play along disrupted the dynamics. Even her children, McKeely and Tony, good-naturedly supported her, with little gestures of defiance that subverted the scripted storytelling of the show. The cameras captured everything. A daughter and mother find agreement through silence, rewriting engagement rules. Behind the scenes, tension was high, insiders reveal. The crew members alluded to the fact that filming was not the same. It was not the usual crazed energy on set. It was frustration and amazement combined. Everyone knew Christine had performed the impossible. And each day, the old recipes that once delivered drama and high ratings were crumbling. Even Cody and Robin had to adjust. Strategic moves, like purchasing a new home or discreetly controlling public opinion, were no longer effective. Christine's genuineness shatters the mold, and fans were paying attention. Comments swamped social media. "She's living her truth. TLC can't fake her happiness. Finally, someone is sick of being controlled." The ratings continued to reflect the changing tide. The episodes that should have drawn millions barely reached a fraction of the audience. The tell-all, once a treasure, now seemed contrived and shallow. Christine's participation, although critical, no longer guaranteed drama. Her refusal to be manipulated caused the manufactured conflict to seem shallow and petty, and while appreciative fans clapped along, TLC panicked. Behind-the-scenes emails surfaced in which producers were coordinating how to regain control, bringing back old controversy, highlighting other cast members, even considering a plot to force Christine into the emotional spotlight once more. But every attempt seemed more transparent than the last. Christine had become bulletproof in her integrity. By the finale of the family intervention episode, one thing was for sure. Christine Woolley was done being a pawn. She had regained her voice, her life, and her power. The show, however, was left struggling to keep the viewers engaged. Ratings were a consequence. The viewers had caught up, more willing to accept real authenticity than manipulated drama, and although TLC tried to salvage the season, viewers could not help but be reminded of reality. Christine's words rang out off the stage. It was a warning to all watching. "I refuse to participate in toxicity. I refuse to let my past control my future. I am done." As time passed, Christine's place continued to ripple within the Sister Wives universe. David remained her rock, but even he felt nuances. The other wives, Robin, Janelle, and Mary, no longer just reacted to Christine. They worked around her independence. Each time she made a decision, every time she showed quiet defiance, the cast and crew redid their game plan. Behind the scenes, producers attempted old tricks. They introduced spontaneous family outings, where everybody was expected to look harmonious. On the surface, it was meant to create warmth and togetherness, but to Christine they were scripted. She wove each encounter with convenience, answering politeness to inquiries but closing down stage drama. Even when Cody tried veiled attacks, queries regarding past wounds or regarding Cody's authority, Christine deflected readily with plain speech and humor, draining the attempted melodrama of its power. Simultaneously, social media became a battleground in its own right. Fans broke down every shot, every glance, every smile. "Christine is the real MVP," one fan typed. "Finally, someone who will not allow himself to be used for clicks," said another. Follower participation grew not from manufactured drama, but because of Christine's authentic presence. People hungered for realness, and she delivered. Video of her calm dealing with provocation went viral, being shared on different mediums like TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. Inside the family home, tensions came to a head in unexpected ways. McKeely, Tony, and other children saw Christine's independence and began asserting themselves too. McKeely, who had been shy, spoke on camera about how earlier family arrangements had impacted her. Tony, conversely, exhibited protective behaviors with his mother, resisting other family members in subtle ways the cameras recorded, but producers could not contextualize within conventional narrative arcs. The dynamics shifted. The story was no longer just about Christine, but about the voices of the future rising. This posed a persuasive challenge to TLC. The producers, desperate to maintain ratings, chose controversy elsewhere. They highlighted minor conflicts between Janelle and Robin, dramatized tensions with manufactured interviews, and even threatened a reconciliation episode that promised fireworks. But these tricks didn't work. Viewers were no longer intrigued by watered-down rivalry. Christine's authenticity had recalibrated expectations. Now viewers demanded substance, not spectacle. And then there was the tell-all show of this season. It was the old-fashioned time when raw feelings crashed into high drama and was meant to yield headline-grabbing sound bites. Christine's involvement, however, disrupted the format. She would not rehash old altercations, but instead discussed growth, self-empowerment, and life outside the show. The producers tried to push her with pointed questions about Cody and Cody, but every question was met with serene, truthful answers that didn't leave any room for soap operas. The audience reacted spontaneously. Reactions poured in. "She's unfazed and thriving. This is what life is really like. TLC can't manufacture happiness, can they?" Mainstream media picked up on the phenomenon as well. Entertainment news and blogs identified Christine's brassy refusal to play along with phony drama. Ratings figures, however, identified a harsh reality for the network. Shows that should have made millions instead floated below expectations. Advertisers got wind of it, and behind the scenes, TLC executives were trying to find solutions. Meanwhile, off-screen events added layers to it all. Sources indicated that Christine was in talks for upcoming projects, wanting to establish her brand far beyond reality television. She considered individual businesses, interviews, and public speaking, all of which contributed to her autonomy and financial independence. The message was clear. Christine didn't require sister wives to make her or matter Cody, though, visibly struggled. His efforts to keep things in check collapsed repeatedly. Tactical pronouncements meant to provoke Christine went unmet with response or condescending responses. Social media highlighted his frustration, and viewers were eager to catch on to the power shift. Robin also sought to ride these rocky waters, but without a willing counterpart in Christine, the familiar drama-driven plots lost their power. By mid-season, a new reality prevailed. Sister wives no longer had the luxury of relying on the old formula. Christine's refusal to be manipulated cracked the network's storytelling structure. Ratings continued to reflect the changing environment, reliably falling as audiences gravitated toward the authenticity Christine embodied. And as the younger generation emerged into adulthood, it was apparent that the show was evolving from a scripted family drama to a multifaceted, unscripted study of personal agency, autonomy, and real-world consequences of existing in the spotlight. As we, the narrator, cannot help but raise an eyebrow at the irony, the show that thrived and survived on controversy now was most challenged, the empowerment of its own players. Christine's statement, "I refuse to engage in toxicity," rang out not only within the walls of her home, but across each episode, every comment, every clip floating around on the internet. It was a masterclass in control, audience expectation, and the absolute power of being authentic. As the season came to an end, the consequences of Christine's independence were indisputable. Ratings numbers confirmed what audiences had already sensed. Sister wives could no longer exist on contrived drama alone. The shrinking audience was less a sign of disinterest in the family than a shift in audience values. Audiences craved authenticity, emotional honesty, and storylines that mirrored their own daily lives. Christine, wittingly or unwittingly, had been the instrument of this transformation. In the final episodes, moments that might have previously been dramatized for conflict instead revealed actual family dynamics. David and Christine shared soft, intimate moments that were in direct contrast to the mayhem that once drove ratings. The Lego sessions, teasing rituals, and unvarnished discussions about parenting and personal growth became the emotional core of the show. Even Cody, once attempting to manipulate narrative tension, was rendered almost powerless against Christine's peaceful resolve. Critics and audiences took note. Social media updates praised Christine's refusal to participate in negativity. Finally, a voice of reason. Christine isn't just surviving, she's thriving. This is reality TV done right. Blog posts dissected every tell-all appearance, praising her composure and wisdom. Classic headlines attempted to sensationalize controversy, yet the fundamental viewership, the ones who had followed the family for years, found no conflict to sensationalize. Christine's tale had upstaged the scripted drama, and the ratings confirmed it. Plunging ratings indeed, yet a record high in social impact and brand loyalty outside the network. Off-screen developments also caused a commotion. Christine's growing independence was mirrored in her family's shifting dynamics. McKeely's and Tony's storylines continued to intersect with hers, emphasizing the transition between the generations. The family's younger members grew more vocal, empowered, and themselves in front of the camera, accentuating the show's unintentional drift away from conflict-oriented reality and toward a quiet examination of autonomy, choice, and resilience. As a narrator, one cannot help but note the irony. The network crafted Sister Wives to thrive on tension, manipulation, and emotional drama. Yet it was Christine's integrity and refusal to be manipulated that became the show's most compelling narrative. Her statement, "I hate the toxicity, I refuse to be part of it," resonated far beyond the television screen. It made audiences reconsider what they desired in entertainment and pushed reality television in a path it might not have anticipated. Going forward, the implications are clear. TLC is at a crossroads. Continue to produce shows the same way, with the potential for further ratings decline, or transition to a world where authenticity is currency, and audiences penalize manufactured drama but compensate sincerity. Christine's removal from the poisonous vortex, permanent or not, has left an indelible mark on the franchise already. She demonstrated that one voice, if guided by truth and self-respect, can alter an entire narrative, shifting the power dynamics not just on the show, but on social media and in fan communities as, well, Sister Wives is no longer so much about polygamy or even the dynamics of the wives' relationships with Cody. It's about control, agency, and finding the strength to say no to toxicity. Christine Woolley's journey is a reminder that reality TV, at its best, is a reflection of real lives. And when reality trumps spectacle, the story is changed forever. We, as viewers, are left to watch a family navigate the struggle between expectation and reality, between the needs of a network and the agency of its subjects. And in this play, Christine is both a participant and a quiet troublemaker, a presence that challenges not just the cast, but the industry itself. Will Sister Wives reclaim its former ratings glory then? Perhaps not, but in doing so, it has given audiences something more difficult to find than spectacle: honesty, resilience, and the reminder that even in a world designed to make money from drama, integrity can change the script. And that, besties, is the tea. Narrator wraps up with a reflective tone. Christine Woolley is done with Sister Wives, but in ditching the toxicity, she has changed the game's rules. The ratings can plummet, the network can flail, but authenticity, that never goes out of style,